Okay, today's daf is Yoma Lamed Aleph, Yoma 31. It says in the bottom of Lamed Amud Beis, the Gemara has a question. Second to bottom line, Amalei Abaye Rav Yosef, Tevilah zu chotetz or eno chotetz. He says this Tevilah is a chotetz or is not chotetz. So Rashi says, what does this mean? The Gemara says, Rav Yehuda Damar Meisrach Tevilah ba'almahi Pasa b'chatzitza kishar Tevilah. So Dilma came with eno ba elul haskir al tuma yeshana v'elul tar ba hi ba. Lo pasa b'chatzitza. He says the shaila of whether, since Rabbi Yehuda says that when you go, when you're Tor in the Mishnah and Lamed Aleph, if he argues with Ben Zoma, he says it's a Tevilah min Rabbanan, just to remind him maybe he's Tameh, a Tor that goes into the Azara, he needs a Tevilah, because to make sure to remind him. So is there a din of a chatzitza or not a chatzitza? And our answer is called Tikun Rabbanan Gein Reisa Tikun Tevilah de Rabbanan. Therefore, there's a problem with chatzitza or not. Now it's interesting. The Gemara says, first of all, how do you know? The Gemara says Tevilah zu. It doesn't say what we're talking about. It says in parentheses on the bottom. It's a Yehuda Damar Srach, but it's in parentheses. We normally don't read parentheses. And how do you know it's not talking about the Tevilah of Mitzorah when he's going into to the Azara in order to he puts his thumbs in order to sprinkle on it blood and oil, which is not to do avoda, and it's talking about someone who's a Mitzorah who's Tameh already. So when the Gemara says Tevilah zu, maybe it's talking about where he's Tameh, not like our Mishnah we're talking about where he's already Tor. And it doesn't say, the Gemara doesn't say yesh din chatzitz or ein din chatzitz. The Gemara says Tevilah zu chotzitz or ein chotzitz. Sounds like the Tevilah is chotzitz or not. Second question, the Gemara continues, Lamed Aleph, Amalei Abaye Rav Yosef, bia mixas shema bia or lo. Coming in partially to the Azara, is that a bia or not considered a bia? Now the question, it's a weird phrase. Until now, the Gemara was talking about Tevilah. Why does the Gemara say bia mixas sarach Tevilah or not? Coming in, mixas, like, and the Gemara proves that he sticks in his thumbs, he needs the Tevilah. So what's the lashon of bia mixas shema bia? The Gemara then continues, and the Gemara says, has a shaila, another shaila, 5 lines down. In order to take a long knife and shech, the pligi of the Yehuda, ben Zoma. According to Ben Zoma in our Mishnah, a Torah that goes into the Beis HaMikdash, he needs a Tevilah for Kedusha purposes, even though he's Torah, because he's going to do the Avoda. So if he takes a knife and he stands outside the Azar and he shechs inside the Azar, what do you need a Tevilah or not? Rashi says, Ma'u sheyase sakin arucha lifter atman atvilah v'yamol chutz la'azara v'yoshin yado lifnim. He says to take his hand and put his hand inside. All the Mefarshim in the art school ask, they say it's lav davka, it shouldn't be yoshin yado lifnim. We're talking about, we just established that bia b'mixas is a bia. Putting your hand in is considered like you're in the Azara, so how could the Gemara has a shaila? Maybe he'll stick his hand in. If he sticks his hand in, it's already, we know the halacha is that you need a Tevilah. I want to say that the Gemara is going back and forth. There's two dinim that are being interchanged over here. One is the din of the Mishnah, machlokes between Ben Zoma and Rabbi Yehuda. Ben Zoma says you need a Tevilah d'oraisa, and Rabbi Yehuda says d'Rabbanan. And we're talking about if you're Tor and you're going to the Beis HaMikdash to do avoda. That's the Mishnah says la'avoda on Lamed Amud Aleph. There, the Yisr is just a din of a Torah going in to do avoda. And we established in the shir yesterday on Daf Lamed that there's a din of, since you're doing the avoda, you're doing a mundane thing, maybe for Kedusha purposes, in order to remove the mundane, to make it Kadosh, you need a Tevilah. Here, there's a second shaila on Daf Lamed Amud Beis. The Gemara talks about a Mitzorah going in. He's already Tameh the Mitzorah. So therefore, the Mitzorah going in, that's a shaila of a Tameh going into the Azara. Tameh going into the Azara is Chayav Kares normally. So a Tameh, the shaila is there, it's not a din about doing the avoda, and the Mitzorah is not doing the avoda, he's just sticking his thumbs in, and he's getting blood and oil sprinkled on it. There the shaila is whether you're nichnas to the Azara, the knisa into the Azara, the bia into the Azara, in a state of tuma, does that need a Tevilah, does that not need a Tevilah? Those are two shailas over here. I want to suggest that when the Gemara says on the bottom, Lamed Amud Beis, Amalei Abaye Rav Yosef, Tevilah zu chotz or ein chotzitz, he's talking about the Gemara on Lamed Amud Beis was talking about. He was talking about The case is where by the Metzora, the Gemara established, the Gemara had a Shakli Tar in Lamed Beis, towards the top of Lamed Beis, about 8 lines down. Atani Metzora Tov only Bishar Nikanar. You don't marry Eno Sarach Tevilah. Shakvar Tav only Be'arav. It's Machalokes, seemingly Machalokes between the Rabban and Rabbi Yehuda. The Metzora, he does a Tevilah, or Rabbi Yehuda says he did a Tevilah at night. So the Gemara brings a question, and then the Gemara brings another question. And the Gemara eventually gives an answer in order to resolve the question. One of the answers the Gemara gives, how did Tevilah das bias mikdash? How did Tevilah das bias mikdash? The question is whether he did a Tevilah with the das to come into the mikdash or not. Whether he had in mind he did the Tevilah to come into the base of mikdash in a state of Tara or not. So it's not clear what the Gemara is really answering over here. I want to suggest when the Gemara says this chiluk, the Gemara really is rephrasing this original Bryce and Lamed Amud Beis. It's not a machlokas Rabban and Rabbi Yehuda anymore. The Gemara is just saying two cases. You can do Tevilah during the day and go right in. That's talking about where he at night he did a Tevilah or he never did a Tevilah. At night he did a Tevilah and he had a Tevilah. Shalol Lavoba Mikdash. He didn't have in mind to come to the Mikdash. Yehuda says, that at night when he did the Tevilah, he had in mind to come in, so he had a Tevilah Das Lavoba Mikdash. Because this second din of a Tameh coming into the Mikdash, Bias Mikdash, it's a din of Tara, not a din of Kedusha. It's a din of Tara. You're Tameh, you have to make yourself Tar. Mr. Sharm says that Tara is dependent on your kavanah. The Rahmana Liba boy. That's what Tara is, having the right kavanas. You shouldn't have psolis in your kavanah. So that's what the Gemara is talking about. If you had kavanah when you do the Tevilah at night, so then you don't need to do Tevilah in the morning. But if you didn't have that, then when you do the Tevilah in the morning, then since you're going in stama, it's like you had kavanah or not. And really, Rabbi Yehuda is not arguing on the Rabban. They're talking about two different cases, like the Gemara's chiluk. If that's true, that's we can understand the Gemara's question. I'm really violator of Yosef. Tevilah zusar chotes or ain't a chotes. We're talking about. Let's say he did a tevilah at night and he didn't have the right kavana. So does that ruin it that he can't do a tevilah during the day? So I'm like call it tikkun rabbanan gein ra'is tikkun. Rabbanan is not a derabbanan. It's rabbanan. The shitas rabbanan. The rabbanan said that a stama, if you do have a tevilah during the day with stam kavana, even if you don't have kavana avava mikdash, gein ra'is tikkun, it resolves the previous tefillah that was invalidated at night, and it's doraisa, and you're yotze with them. And that's why the Gemara says, the next question, mixa shma bia, although is it called a bia or not? That's because the reason it uses the lashon bia is because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the isser of a tummy going into the azara, and that's the isser is nothing to do with the avoda. It's the actual entrance, right, going in. That's the question. Is it considered a bia or not? Because that's the whole nidon here is the bia or not coming in. And that would also resolve the problem we have with Rashi, that the Gemara says, according to Ben Zoma, who says that when a Torah goes into the Mikdash to do avoda, it says, Rashi says he puts his hand into the Azara, because even though we assume the Gemara was posted that Bia Mikdash Shema Bia, that's only talking about a tummy going into the base to the Azara, he has to become Torah. So therefore, Bia Mikdash Shema Bia. But when we're talking about doing the avoda, Ben Zoma's case where you're a tar and you're going in to do the avoda, so therefore that's pashta the Gemara. Bia mixes lo shma bia. That's not considered bring your hand in. It's not considered bia. The only question is, are we concerned? The Gemara says asilam shuche. Maybe he'll draw his whole body in, and then you need a tevilah for the purpose of kedusha for doing the avoda.